Hello everyone and welcome back to another tier list that I'm going to try and put together here on my channel. It's another national final and it's the last one. It's Festival da Canção from Portugal and they have I've kind of like thought about it a little bit and this might actually be my favorite national final all year. At least like the final selection. They have a lot of songs in the final, there are 13 of them, but I feel like there's a little bit of everything in here. And I feel like it's just like a perfect little selection of so many different things. And I think that there's like nothing in this selection that really makes me feel like this doesn't serve a purpose here. I feel like everything kind of has something going for it that makes it feel like a part of everything that's going on here. And I'm really fond of that. So I think that's probably why I consider this to be my favorite. Norway is absolutely up there. I must say that that one had a little bit of everything too and really enjoyable. But other than that, I think this is up there, like definitely among like the best ones that I've followed. And I'm just always like I get excited talking about Festival de Canção this year because it's been such a strong listening experience for me, and I've been looking forward to actually making a tier list. It's gonna be really difficult. I haven't given it too much thought yet of where I actually want to put different songs. I have like a general kind of idea, but it's gonna become a little bit spontaneous, I think, here and there in really placing everything where I feel like it should be. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky one, but I'll try and be as thorough as possible with this. There are reviews for all of these songs on my channel. You can find them. Festival da Canção is also a very fantastic, what do you call it, like a national final as a whole, because they don't block anything on YouTube. They allow you to use their content completely, which is amazing. So all my reviews in full, you can find them on my channel if you want to hear my more thorough thoughts on anything here, because I think we need to get like through it in a pretty quick pace here today. My tier lists tend to become way too long regardless. We got 13 songs. As always, I have 5 categories. I will put them all in the different categories. I'm only allowed to pick one winner. I set that rule on myself just because. And in this selection, it's a bit tricky, but I've decided I have. But yeah, let's start from the bottom and work our way up. And I think there's like nothing that I really consider not for me, but then I felt like I'm thinking another way around it, like maybe I should put something in the bottom category just to kind of not stack the top categories. But in all honesty, I don't think it's like it's not for me. It's all right. And the first song that I think of when I say that is the one that I've had to write down in my cheat notes because it's called Zapatos de Cimento. And it's this one right here. It's energetic, it's very warm and charming and inviting. And I like this little segment there towards the end where they're all like facing away from the camera and singing to this sun, I guess it is. It's like harmonic, it's engaging in that sense. I think the performance adds a layer to it. It's a bit messy in my opinion at the same time, and it's not really a type of music that I really click with, but I still think this is a fun experience. I think it absolutely has its own spot within the final. I think it fits the selection. I think it definitely should be there because it offers a little bit of variation. It offers this really charming party festival kind of ongoing vibe, and it's just really engaging in that. And I have a lot of fun watching and listening to it. It's not something that I seek out, but I think it's a nice break from some of the more serious efforts in here, or serious. You get my point. Like the more dramatic ones. This one is a nice change of pace in there, and it's all right. It's not something that I really write home about, but I enjoy having it in here. Another song which I kind of like, you can kind of group it into the same category, I guess, but I just find a little bit more enjoyment in this one. Is the song called Tormento, which is repetitive beyond words. Like let's face it, it's very repetitive. It's monotonous throughout. It has the same kind of instrumental input. It's some variation here rhythmically, but melodically, intonation-wise, chord intervals. It's very much the same thing throughout, and that's probably what kind of is a little bit tiresome about it. But there's also a lot of charm to this. I think it's catchy. I think the upbeat tone of it is really engaging, and I kind of like them on stage a lot as well. But it's not something that I think is really like a standout. It's just them standing up there and just being, happy and charming, but not much more than that. And I'd say that that's probably also one that I just consider all right within this selection. That's obviously really strong. Um, I kind of have an issue right here, because the sun is kind of going into my screen, so I have to kind of see if I can see all of the songs, but I kind of know which ones we got left here. We're gonna go for Viver next by Sal, which I think has a really interesting concept behind it, but it's not something that went all the way for me. It's not something that really sparked too much of an interest in me. There was a nice flow to it. I liked the staging of it a lot. And I liked the opening with these massive vocal harmonizations. But as the song progressed, I felt like it became a little monotonous. It wasn't really all there for me. And if there is like one song in this selection that I think like it's one that I don't remember as clearly as the others, this would probably be the one. And that's why I just kind of have to put it in the it's all right category. I still enjoy it when I listen to it and when I watch it, but if we had a 10-song final here, this is absolutely one that I would like. I could do without. I'd say. And now we got 9 songs left. Yes, 9. And these ones are all songs that I really enjoyed the first time I heard them. Some more than others, of course. We're gonna go into the enjoyable category, and I think I'm gonna start with the song called "Endless World," which I think the main part about it is the staging. That's really like what sets it apart. I think songwriting wise, it's intriguing in sound design. It's a very kind of atmospheric song, really reliant on the synths and pads, and creates a very nice soundscape with those. But I think that melodically, it's not quite there. It's not something that really sparks an interest in me melodically. And even though like the vocals are done well and the staging works really well in creating an effective delivery of it, it's really not like a melody that I return to. I think it gets a bit repetitive towards the end as well, and that's probably just what drags it down a little bit and just makes this one enjoyable. I would absolutely put this on at any time and just kind of vibe with it if I see the performance as well. But I don't think as a studio cut, it's not really that enjoyable to me. But watching it as well, with this whole color grading, the lighting, the props, and the attire, everything just really works great, and I think that's the enjoyable aspect of it mostly, and also how it fits with the instrumental approach and the arrangement of the song in a way as well. It's a cleverly put together package, but it's not something that really I consider to be among the standouts in what is such a strong selection. And I guess the same can kind of be applied for what should we take? Should we take Nashi Maria and get it out of the way? Because I know this is a standout favorite, and I know a lot of people are really passionate about this one and are massive fans of it, and that's really, really cool because I could absolutely be a part of that as well. I think there are a lot of great things to take about it. The message, of course, but also the presentation of it. It's a creatively staged song. It has choreography that's just out of this world engaging. I think she's a charismatic performer. I think there are interesting songwriting ideas here, like mainly effect work, I guess you'd call it, or like sound elements scattered throughout the song to really kind of make it sound very alive and very authentic. But what really just kind of kills it for me is this constantly repetitive hook to it, which I think could be its selling point as well. It's absolutely understandable if you really just kind of click with that, but it's also really understandable if you don't really click with that. And I think it becomes very one note in that it's not melodically engaging for me. I feel like it's like a similar issue for many of the songs so far. I feel like the melodic side of things in this one isn't really that interesting. There's a nice what do you call it, like playfulness with different rhythms and different types of energy throughout the song. They really play around with creating a constant movement within the song. But I just really would have loved some more melodic intonation in it to really push it over the line. And if this one ends up winning, which it might, that's fine. But I just think there are so many songs that I personally enjoy more in the selection. Not really necessarily enjoyed more, but I'm going to put it in the same category, and it's called World Needs Therapy. It's also enjoyable for me. I like the whole sound delivery, like the instrumentation of it probably. It's very early 2000s rock music, like a mellow kind of Foo Fighters, a bit Soundtrack of Our Lives, and these kind of groups, which just has this more like a gray tone to the guitar work, to the whole atmosphere really. I like the riffs in this one a lot. I like how they layer the guitar riffs with the vocal as well in the chorus. It's very kind of catchy and leaves an impression on me or an imprint on me And I remember the song. It's not something I seek out because I don't really think the energy is all there. I don't think it's varied enough throughout. But at the core idea, it's still something that's just really enjoyable. It goes on, and it's something that I would probably never turn off because it's just enjoyable to have to kind of follow along with. And there's a nice flow to it. It's well performed as well. I like the lighting of it a lot, and yeah, that little chorus is honestly quite great, and I like the guitar riffs as well, and I like the sound of the guitars as well. The way that they're distorted really just clicks for me. So that one is enjoyable for me too. We got 7 songs left, and Good Night is also an enjoyable one for me. I think the staging is absolutely the best part of this one. I think the song on its own isn't too interesting in my opinion. It never really kicks into gear, and it stays very mellow throughout. Has these warm sounds, especially like in the plucks and the keyboards and whatnot. But the song really never gets going. It has like a rhythmic switch up, which first, like on first listen, it really took me out of it. But I think there's a charm to it as well. But songwriting wise, it's just never really clicking with me because it doesn't go anywhere like extraordinary, I guess. It just kind of remains within its same little bubble. And regardless of her moving out of this frame that she has on stage, you kind of feel like that part of the song would really like have an evolution within the song. But I never really feel like that. I feel like it's still very warm, cozy, mellow, regardless of her stepping out of this little um, fragment in time that they're portraying with the whole frame on stage, which I think is a little bit of like a missed opportunity. Regardless, the staging is absolutely the best part of it. I love the whole concept of everything being frozen in time there, and when she steps out of it, it becomes very, it becomes real time or whatever you say. Um, I like that aspect. I think it's really enjoyable. I think it's wonderful to look at. But the song isn't quite there, and if it comes on in a studio cut, I never really seek out to actually listen to it. So a bit of both in that one. The remaining 6 songs are, I'd say, by far my favorite ones in the selection. I'm not gonna put all of them in Great Alternative, or am I? I actually am. You know what? I am. But the thing is that 2 of them I kind of consider lower than the other 4. So you just have that in mind. I will start with those 2, and then we'll move on into the big 4. I'll call them. We're gonna start with another one that I need my cheat note for. It's called Encrucijada, which is so charming. It's just like this warm tone of it. It's how everything kind of sounds really filtered out. At first I was really skeptical towards the production quality of this one. I felt like, oh, it's like they don't really know how to mix it. But the more I listen to it, it's like intentional. I feel it really just leaves an impression and makes something. What do you call it? Like, it makes the song special because it has this very unique tone to it. I love his vocal style. I think he sings the song beautifully. I love the whole input from the trumpet there, especially after the first chorus when the trumpet gets to take over, and it fits this warm and cozy sound arrangement really well. Also, lovely staging with the lighting. I like this whole concept of him in the green as well in the middle. It's a very happy uh, entry as a whole. Like the whole effort is just there to kind of elevate my mood, I feel. I think that it's a wonderful addition to have in this final. I think it would be a wonderful entry in Eurovision, honestly. That's why it's a great alternative. It's just that Portugal have more songs that also would be wonderful efforts in Eurovision. But I think this one is really charming. It's very inviting. It's very enjoyable to kind of look at just from a distance or nearby. It's a song that works in all kinds of moods, or distances to it, I guess. Um, I think that one's wonderful, actually. I've been listening to it quite a bit, actually. Yeah, let's go with Findo Mundo as well, because this one is absolutely something special in it. I love these small parts where the piano kicks, like when the energy really gets going. Someone explained in my comment sections that these parts in the middle where the energy just keeps going is like having to make like an abrupt decision to basically, if you want to stay with her for the end of the world, if I've understood it correctly. And these parts where the energy just kicks up and if everything becomes really hectic, you feel like the intensity of it, you feel a bit stressed. but at the same time, it's also just this really um, uplifting melodic input from the piano. I love these little parts because it really gets me going. I think vocally throughout, it's not really something that sticks with me. It's just like these small segments scattered throughout the song, which just are so engaging to me that I feel like um, those are the standout parts. But the song also needs to have the other segments because it creates the flow and the purpose of the entire song as a whole. You need this contrast and dynamic between the different sections, and I feel like having more, I guess, unremarkable verses per se is really what highlights these evolutions within the song. I think it's playfully written. It has a wonderful flow to it. The structure is great. I like the whole concept of the song really as well. Um, Vocally, from what I remember, it's not like it's something that really blew me away live vocal wise, but I might be wrong on that. But I felt like maybe there needs to be a little more conviction in there for it to really push itself over the line. But I'm not really sure because I still have it in great alternative. It's so enjoyable, and I think it would be a great effort. Um, but yeah, we got 4 songs down here, and these 4 they took me on a ride. Let's say I have a difficult time choosing one to start with um, to talk about. So should we just start by talking about? Should we do Contraste Mudo first? Let's talk about this one because this is an experience. It's atmospheric, it's ambient, it has world building going for it. This is a song that you just take in. You don't have to do anything, you just have to sit back, listen, take everything in, and just enjoy. Get swooped away within the presentation of this wonderful kind of sound journey, like the instrumental journey in here. The vocals are kind of just being utilized as additional instruments in here, which I think adds a great layer of life to the song and its progression and evolution throughout. I think songwriting wise, it's very kind of free flowing. It doesn't really follow any specific chord intervals that just kind of take you on expected turns. It just does what it wants to do, and everything sounds very natural within this whole concept of the song. Like within the context here, everything, like the free flowing kind of aspect is just so welcoming, and it's just acceptable and accessible and actually encouraged here. And I just love that aspect of it. I love how this song is just allowed to breathe its own life, and you're just you observe and take it in from a distance. And for me personally, it's a song I can just lay back and just really close my eyes, take in, really just enjoy, and kind of like fly away with it. It's like a levitating experience, and I wish for this song to actually get an extended cut or something with 10 minutes where I can just put it on at any time and just have the most wonderful, peaceful kind of time that possible. It's sound design phenomenal, arrangement out of this world. It's just so pleasant to listen to, and this whole ambient experience, it's very soothing for me, and I love the way the song progresses. So if Portugal ends up going for that one, would be incredible. I'm not sure if they will, but if they do, that would be something. Another song which would be incredible to see Portugal go for is Provo, which spoke to me from the first listen. This is so minimalistic and so scaled back. It's very raw and authentic. And I think most of it just comes down to this vocal, like the delivery of it, the emotion behind it, and the way that the guitars are really allowed to be the only thing we need. Because the guitars are layered, they're playfully played, they're very well played. It's a well-crafted arrangement as a whole behind it, and the special thing is that you don't really need different instrumental inputs to work in unison when you have something that feels incredibly real, because this is a song that definitely just portrays one story from one perspective, I'd say, and that's what really grabs me about it. The guitar is incredibly well played throughout. It has a great tone to it. It's produced in a way that makes it sound very real, and the way that it's so well played just feels like there's a sophistication about it. While I've forgotten his name, I think it was Ivandro, but I don't quote me on that. But his vocal delivery is so packed with a raw tone, with emotion, with a kind of sentimental tone melancholy and also of just this really authentic storytelling. And I love the whole package of that. I also like this little structure that he's standing on. It looks wonderful. The lighting's pretty great as well. Maybe you'd need a little bit more color, but just the concept of it is really speaking to me, and I love the delivery of it as well. It ends a bit abruptly. I don't think it's a massive issue. This is also a song that could absolutely go on for a longer period of time, and I wouldn't mind it one bit. However, a song that I would probably, I'm not sure, like this song is just like the perfect length though. It's everything that it should be for this duration of time. It does everything within this little runtime. It's 3 minutes and it's all engaging the entire time, and it's a wonderful show to it as well. You know I'm talking about Ai Coração. If you want, if you prefer this as your winner, completely fine. If this wins, I'll be thrilled. Don't worry. But we'll talk about the other song later. Ai Coração has a show to it. It's an experience. It's something you will remember. It's entertaining as hell, so enjoyable. It has the energy, it has the flow throughout the song. The structure is so playful. It goes from segment to segment, just switching up, giving you different kind of views into the whole story that they're presenting. It works as a complete package in the best ways, because everything has been very carefully put together. There's a purpose behind every single part of the song. The opening is grand, effective, and you're not really sure what to expect when the rest of the song comes in. But then the energy kicks in. The percussion is so engaging and layered in such a fantastic way that there's a lot of different rhythmic inputs all the time. The guitar lines that take over, so melodic, so rhythmically engaging, so memorable. And the vocal performance, which is just out of this world. It's so characteristic. It's definitely something that constantly pushes the song forward, and I'm honestly so hooked by it. And then you have the show as well. It's a show on stage. You want to see more of her, of them, of everything that's going on within this world here. We're not allowed to do that because it's 3 minutes, but in these 3 minutes, they managed to capture everything, and I think that's so wonderful. Yeah, I've understood that it might be the favorite to win, so yeah, we'll see. We'll probably get something good from Portugal to add to our Eurovision selection tonight. If we get the song A Festa, however, we will have, I can already confirm, my favorite song in the selection this year. There will most likely be nothing to beat it. We only have like a few songs left, and if this one gets chosen, this is everything I want. You know, it feels real. It sounds absolutely incredible. It has this flow to it. It has these melodic lines to it, which just captivate me so heavily. I think that once the song really just starts, it sets its own tone so wonderfully. It has an atmospheric touch to it. It's very tranquil. But as the song kind of progresses, you stack rhythms on top of each other. The percussive inputs are so kind of unique in a way, I think. They have a sound to them which are very, I'd say authentic again, but I feel like I'm overusing the word. But they come across with a sound that's very carried with a lot of substance, I guess you'd say. It's a song that's constantly like brewing in the very background, while the melodic delivery of everything becomes like the beam of everything, on top of everything, and kind of just radiates of this light of progression, of evolution. Love the storytelling aspect of this song. Love the way that it kind of makes me feel both at some segments a little bit of hope, but at some segments it makes me feel claustrophobic. It makes me feel uneasy. It makes me feel kind of out of place, which is kind of the purpose of the song. But also like in the way that the song is structured, it also has this flow to it, which really makes me feel like there's a constant kind of questioning about it, I'd say. Like these sing-along friendly sections without like the lyrical content are very catchy, and they just kind of make you feel like you're being dragged into it. It feels like something comforting. But then the other segments are just scattered with this kind of mystery of something a bit eerie and suspenseful, and also very uneasy, I feel. And like these atmospheric parts within the song as well, they kind of drag me back and forth in contrasting each other, and it really makes for like a very constantly shifting listening experience, because you never really know what you're gonna get in the next segment. You never really know where the song wants you to go, and where the song wants itself to go. And I think at the center of everything, we have one of the most brilliant vocal performances this year, a very charismatic performer in Edmundo here, who's obviously like the central point of everything here. He's the storyteller. It's his story. It's his whole picturesque visualization of what he wants to or present. And I think he does the most wonderful job of it. It's alluring to watch. It's really engaging. I love that whole segment at the end where the musicians join in behind him, and they're all kind of like covered their eyes. So it's like just kind of, I guess what you call it, like strangers surrounding him. It's all about him, and I think that's such a wonderful presentation. Lighting looks great as well, but what really sets this one apart is just the songwriting. It's a wonderful melody. It's a wonderful kind of instrumental arrangement throughout. I love the guitar work. I love the percussion mainly. Like that's the standout here, and I just adore the vocals as well. And if a Festa goes to Eurovision, it's going to be my favorite. No doubt about it. I can already confirm, unless one of the remaining countries brings out something that I could never ever expect in my wildest imagination. Regardless of anything, Festival da Canção has been probably the best national final of 2023, in my opinion. At least like the final selection here. And this is my tier list. If you disagree with it, it's completely fine. Tell me what yours would look like in the comments, and I hope we'll have a great show tonight. Thank you for joining me for this video, and I hope I will see you soon again. Until then, take care, and bye-bye.